Hey guys, Curious, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be ranking all the openings and endings in Prichan. Now that it's over, I think it's a good time to go over these, and I think you should all know this is the video with the highest likelihood of being copyright claimed or copyright struck. So if there's parts of the audio that sound funky, now you know why. I'm trying to keep this video available to everyone and keeping it from being blocked. With that said, let's get right into it. And in last place, we have... It grates on my ears. That's it. The vocal filter that they chose to give the mascots this season was a choice. It's definitely better during the verses, but honestly it's just annoying to hear. I do find the visuals cute and I like how colorful it is, but it's just not a song that I can sit through. It's a little unbearable, and no matter how good the song might be, hearing it with these vocals is just not great. It's an ending that I'm always willing to skip. In 12th place, we have our first tie. Firstly, with the initial ending, which honestly is pretty simple. I love Wasta's vocals, but the song is pretty basic, and it really shows off the initial art style. The initial art style for Kirato Prichan isn't the best. The heads are kind of bloated and the eyes look like they're about to pop off sometimes. The faces just look really awkward. It's a good start, but I really am biased against the older art. The chibi style is cute, but there's really not much else to say about this, landing at a mediocre 12th spot just above last. The second ending in this position is Season 2's first ending. Another chibi ending that doesn't do much for me. I'm so biased against the chibis, only a good song can really save them from my judgment. Is it catchy? Yes, but I do think it can get annoying with how repetitive it is. Gorgeous art for all the Season 2 endings, to be honest. I think every single image that's featured is super cute, however it just feels a bit lackluster overall. I think it's just decent, which is why it's also so close to the bottom. Shout out to the artists though, they did a great job, I just didn't like this one. At number 11 we have... Now this was our first impression of the new series, and I think it did a pretty good job. It embodies the homemade feeling that pre-channels have in general. The camera leads us through various videos that the girls made themselves, which is a neat way to show the new gimmick of the series, streaming. I think they chose really nice introduction shots, and it does a good job of showing off the mechanics and making it feel really nice, and all the text and effects all over the screen kind of do seem like something the girls would do. It has an overall homemade feeling. However, some of the panning shots, I know I've said this before, but the way they drew faces in Season 1 really just bothers me. There's just something about these that doesn't look right. Amazing shots of when they put in the apply, but I just don't really find it that incredible. I especially think that the dull black background when they're changing chords is a gigantic disservice to almost everything they're wearing. Normally these transformations take place in like pastel or watercolor gradient backgrounds, and this one just isn't doing it for me. It's a good song, but once again, not the greatest. There's an awkward shot of Anju, and even the transformation is just kinda not fun. I especially hate how lazy the final shot looks. Is it nice? Yes, but I don't know. This one had a lot of good things at the beginning, but as it went on, I just started to enjoy it less and less, so it's gonna have to stay near the bottom. So if you thought I was just biased against Season 1, this next entry should prove you wrong. At number 10, we have... This is probably the least memorable opening. It's so unmemorable that I actually uploaded this to YouTube without realizing I had skipped it, and it was only when I looked at the numbering that I wondered where's number 10, and I remembered, oh, Never Ending is a thing. It was only around for 11 episodes at the end of season 1, so it's pretty easy to overlook. However, the animation is actually at its best here. The song is a bit calmer, giving the impression that everything is coming to an end. It's a really good opening. There's a lot of fluid animation in this, and it shows off the outfits really amazingly. There's a clip of the girls standing behind Anju, and that's kind of tied to Anju wanting to leave Prichan behind, even showing her flying off at the end. It's a lot better than I remember, and this is actually better than the first one, especially the final roll call shots, which all have these amazingly beautiful and detailed, that especially the final roll call shots, which are fluidly animated, showing off the new designers, as well as showing off our characters in really neat, detailed art. So if you thought I was just biased against Season 1, this next entry should prove you wrong. This is the final opening of the series, and it's pretty good. To be completely honest, I like it a whole lot more than I liked Shining Star and Prepara. The tempo is great, but overall it's just kind of meh in my opinion. I love the beginning a lot. We've got cute shots of everyone, and the clap beat building hype. We've got this. Everyone gets an amazing frame here, especially Melting Star with Anna's leg kind of raised, looking down on us. What I don't love, however, is the fact that the chorus immediately cuts to stock footage. I don't know, just given the minor key change, I think we should get some cool animation. And the fact that we get to see the ugly cat outfits right before isn't helping. I really think Season 3 of Prichan made some choices with its fashion. I'll probably make a whole video about the power-up chords, the Illuminage rares later on, because I think they all look pretty bad. I don't know what happened, because the Season 2 jewel chords looked amazing, but these are all mistakes in my opinion. Honestly, I will let me just stop ranting about them because it's not the video to do that. But I feel like especially the last part feels so rushed. Everything is happening so fast you can barely take it all in. I feel like they could have moved the animation in this section to the chorus and left the stock footage to fill the extra time, because the pacing is actually pretty decent with regards to matching the song up until after the stock footage where everything is just happening now. So yeah, the screen time distribution is very, very peculiar in my opinion. All of these fast cuts are just flying by. I don't know why Hikari is smiling at Kirachu here. The dance segments also aren't as well timed as the others, like with the CGI performances they chose. So yeah, despite finishing off the series and doing a lot of stuff right, it's just not that great, which is why it's so low on the list. So at number 8, we're finally getting to the songs I really like. This is where it really is the best songs and animation kind of just competing. The previous ones were mostly stuff that kind of failed to live up to my expectations. Still some problems, but let's get right on to number 8. The second opening of season 2 brings a lot more hype. I love the start with Mirai solo, and she does tend to get the best animated shots in these. We pant all our side characters. I just love how they're always included. There's a lot of dancing on stage, which is pretty epic, especially at the end. We start with a solo, we see all the characters and their unit chords, and we end with the characters dancing on stage once again. There's a lot of animation which I'm not used to, and I think that all of these shots of Nijinosaki are pretty cute, especially this pan across our characters and Ange flying. I don't know why she's there though, she doesn't do much of use in this entire series. Ange was good in season 1, but I don't know what happened. I also appreciate that we get to see who has their jewel cord at this point. Honestly, it's just so many fun little things. The CGI isn't around for too long. Pretty epic for the tournament arc. I want to give a shout out to whoever chose to end it with dancing. Pretty smart choice before showing us who has the new jewel cord and who doesn't in that Coliseum setting. Great animation, pretty amazing overall. Song isn't perfect, but it's damn close. At number 7, we have... This is a personal favorite of mine. I just think the song is so catchy. Wasta always sounds amazing, so I'm not surprised they were the ones behind this. We've got the chibis that we're used to, and nothing here really stands out. But I don't think that really matters. I mean, to be fair, it's not like this has done that much better than the other chibi endings, but I'm just really in love with the song, you know? There's a few nice shots at the end, but I won't lie. Just hearing Wasta sing this song and having it be a personal favorite of mine is kind of what landed its position on this list, so there's really not much else to say. We're just over the halfway point, so let's see what number 6 is. Season 2, best season, undeniably, and what a great start. The new merchandise is shoved in our faces immediately before we even see the show's logo, just to cut right back to the toys. I think that this opening is a really great introduction for our new characters too. Maria and Suzu are characterized so well in just this first little scene, as Maria excitedly waves at our mains while Suzu's calmly reading, before Maria hugs her for their profile. It gives us a good idea of their dynamic and portrays their characters pretty well, without needing to dedicate that much time to it. Maria's cuteness stickers kind of transition us between everyone's families. Once again, it's such a small detail, but I love that we always get to see the side characters in these. It would have been easy for them to be forgotten and left behind, especially post Season 1, where they're not doing as much, but no, we get to see them in almost every opening. Moving along, as the song reaches its chorus, we're given these glorious shots of the new girls, and it's honestly such a good cut, you know? I think that my favorite part is when we get a second transformation for Mirai, just before we zoom out to see all the jewel cords we have so far. I really do like seeing the jewel cords flying above them, and I'm guessing they liked it so much that they kept it for the next opening as well. So yeah, it's fast-paced, and it's an excitable start to a new season. 10 out of 10. So in 5th position we have... When I first heard this one, I thought it was pretty boring, and I kinda blamed the song's initial key for not hooking me, but I will admit the animation is pretty cute. The chibis all run throughout the day as they form their teams, and the real selves get some pretty nice frames. By the chorus, the song is picked up and we get Wasta's glorious vocals. I think that vocally the song is pretty impressive, and there's enough flair with the animation to win me over. They even managed to avoid the weird eyes that Season 1's art seems to be plagued by. It reminds me a lot of the older fairy tale endings, which were chibis, so yeah, pretty cute video, paired with a great song, and it's got Wasta, so I'm pretty biased against that. I love them so much. At number 4, we've got... Brand New Girl just blows all the endings out of the water, if we're being completely honest. This isn't one of the best Prichan endings, but probably one of the best in the entire franchise. It's got such a soothing song and really amazing visuals to match. It's such a soothing song with stunning visuals to match. I really do applaud the artists for choosing pairings that weren't just teammates with teammates, you know. We get to see some Mirai and Sada friendship when they're eating together, and we also get to see Mel and Suzu at this table. And Mel's relationship with Suzu was kind of one of admiration, with how Mel was able to do pretty much everything that Suzu struggled with. I really also appreciate the small touches with everyone stopping to wait for Nijinosaki because, you know, she's one of their friends. They're not just gonna walk by. They could have just had Mirai stop because their friendship is the closest, but no, the whole group stops, and when she catches up, they all move together. It's such a small, touching detail. I enjoy seeing the shots of everyone wake up, We see Suzu in a light that we probably wouldn't see her in the show. Everything is so cutely drawn. I think the art style here is shown off best. The thick outlines and the way they shade really does put these designs on full display. Everyone's got such a stylish outfit. You know, it's not even their usual colors for some of them, but despite that, they make it work. And I really just like the way they could have gone with a very basic team shot thing, but there's so many places where that's not what's happening. You know, there's this shot with Anna, Mirai, and Rinka when it easily could have been, you know, Run Girls Run or Miracle Curats. There's a cute shot with Emo and Anna as long as Rinka and Sara looking at the camera. Every choice made in this ending was the right one. So now we're in the final three and we're almost through with this. In third place, we have One Heart is almost like the growing jewel of Prichan. Slow scrolls over detailed art of our units, all in elegant outfits, with a slow song that builds. I think that it's very cute, and in general, the season 3 songs blow the rest out of the water. I love the instrumental flourishes like the twinkle at the end, and the song's tempo is just so inviting. There's a fun picnic shot with everyone on the mat, really showing us how close our characters have grown and kind of emphasizing how big the cast is now by growing out from Miracle Curats, who are our first 3 characters, now including most of them, except for Ange, but I'm not complaining. I think it's a really cute song, and that's kind of why it earns this spot. It just makes me feel sentimental even though it hasn't been that long since Prichan Season 3 ended, and I haven't even finished it. The song and the animation, and even the color palette with the sunset filling the screen with this nice orange hue, just make me feel really warm inside. At number 2, we have Prichan Season 3's opening feels so light and whimsical. It starts off with a giant castle as we pan out to Prichan Land. Having the characters leap into the air really helps create this free feeling. I especially love Alice's introduction shot. The other girls' roll call shots are mostly for their mascots. There's a lot of rotation and flying with a camera, and this is kind of what helps build this overall feeling of freedom and fantasy somewhat. It's a great way to signify a new start. I think the music and the animation are best paired here, as there isn't really a single part where I feel anything was poorly timed. All of the cuts and all of the motion we see is pretty well matched to the music. Even the CGI portions are pretty well selected for this. I enjoy the grand atmosphere because there's a lot of shots we don't normally see in Prichan openings, and just as we come to a close, it ends with fireworks over the castle as Mirai stands in her glowing cord. 10 out of 10. And at last, we have the number 1 spot. What an amazing follow-up to Illuminage Land. Where the first opening felt airy and whimsical, this one is a lot more fun and intentional. The guitars and vocals are a lot more solid for this song, and I love it. Look, it's kind of hard to talk about music in a way that makes sense to everyone, especially when it's so subjective. There's so much animation in the first few seconds, it's not even the same show. We get flowing shots of our mains, and the mascots transform energetically. One of the things that really stands out when you watch this opening is that the camera never stops moving, and neither do the characters. Even the panning shots here are brief and far between. There's just not that many times we see so much motion in any of the Pretty series. You know, I think that it's one of the things that makes this song stand out so much. It's so fluid, and the animation has so much more effort put into it than we're used to. Very few stills, which leaves the whole opening feeling really energetic. It's the best kind of opening, in my opinion. Perfect timing and amazing shots. Now, I don't think every opening should have to look like this, but I do think we should get at least one per season in Primaji because this is pretty incredible. That's kind of why it's at the top of the list, because we just haven't seen something like this before. I don't think even Prepara had an opening where they just went all out with the animation. It's not just fluid animation, but it's pretty important too. It shows off all our characters, all the gimmick chords, and kind of just sets up the final tournament really well. It's grand with so many performances, and the final shot is incredible. With that said, now that we're done with the ranking, let me know what you would consider the best openings and endings. This was a great video to come back on, primarily because the last one took a pretty long time and this one is slightly shorter, I'm assuming. But that's all for me. I will see you guys next time.